Hi there, this is Diana of Be4STEM, and we're in a lab at Georgia Tech with Todd Walters, who's a technical process engineer, and we want him to show you what a day in his life might be like. So what are we about to do, Todd?
This is a Hitachi HT7700 transmission electron microscope. And electron microscope has an electron source, and then that energy is transferred down the column and actually will transmit through my sample and then actually put the image on a screen down below, which then will actually show up on the screen, on the computer screen. So I just have a little alignment grid, and the sample is only 3 millimeters big, but it's almost see-through, where you can actually transmit through the sample. So I can just load it up into the sample holder.
You have a steady hand, Todd. Not everybody could do this.
Wow,
That's
sometimes it goes flying.
Wow.
And then I just have a little grid cap holder that'll go on top of the sample holder.
And good coordination, and kids have that, don't they?
Kids have a lot of patience. So now you can see the grid is actually held in place by the little grid cap. And then I can load it into the stage. All of the microscope is under vacuum, so it's pumping down the little small cylinder from atmosphere. And then when it reaches a high enough vacuum with the roughing pump that's over in the chase, I'll actually get a green light, and that'll allow me to turn the sample holder and actually open a ball valve that'll allow the sample holder to be inserted into the stage.
And the reason we need a vacuum is what?
Because of electrons. For the travel, electrons operate just like light, except there's a much shorter wavelength, so you can get much better resolution. So once the vacuum's good, I can rotate it into the column, the little ball valve opens, and the sample goes all the way into the path of the electron beam. The high voltage is still on. I'm at 100,000 volts, and the film is on. Then I just need to turn the beam on, and then you can see I get a little emission current. I've got an electron beam, it's actually hitting the beam. Then here's the sample. We're actually displaying the electron beam is passing right through that sample, and then displays it onto the scintillator, and then it comes over here onto the screen.
And it's enlarging that tiny 3 milliliter
3 millimeter,
sample.
Very small. And then I can focus it, and just like that, I'm at 200,000 times magnification.
And what are we looking at?
We are looking at nothing very exciting. This is basically just a little holes. We call it a holy grid that allows me to be able to focus and gets detail. This is not really a real world sample.
So this is the sample that you use to prepare the microscope for what you really need to view.
For alignments and tests, and this is what I would put in to be able to look at.
And what's an
get the
example
microscope.
of the type of sample you would need to look at to evaluate?
One of the things that this microscope is mainly used for is silver nano-cubes. And they come in all different shapes. They try to cube them, they try to make them rods. I'm sure I can find one.
Oh, how beautiful.
So here's an example of, this would be bad, but this is something, what happens is the students are always trying to get the best or add or get the proper shape or the proper size, and you just try different things, and depending on what you're trying to look for. So here'd be an example of, a little bit, but the size distribution, so the looking is much smaller, and they just keep on trying.
what
Just
kind of
to see what they're
research
doing.
would that be used for?
They would use this in a lot of medical and a lot of carriers. They try to attach different things to these nanoparticles where you can actually add them to different materials or to add them to different, I guess just medicines. I'm not too sure. I really don't do much with the research.
Gotcha.
My job is to make sure this microscope is working properly.
That's very exciting to me, and I think it would be to a lot of people. So thank you very much for showing us your work today.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate it. We'll
No
see
problem.
you again soon.
Thank you.